Hello, this is Angela with Dogwood Paper Arts, and I am back to show you this cute little fold out. Looks like maybe some tied up love notes here, but it's not. It's a journaling card. But it unties, and then this slips out. And then, this would be attached. And then you have all this journaling area here. Now the other thing you could do would be to leave this open and leave a tuck spot for a tag or something like that. Let's see. If you wanted, you could leave a tuck spot for a tag right there. And this is about the size of a journal page. Forgive my hands, but for the one I'm going to show you, I had to dye some seam binding. And I dyed it with a little bit of mowed lawn and a lot more of peacock feathers and speckled egg to get that lightish green color that kind of matches this. Okay, so now you know what we're up to, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently on the next one. We're going to try something different. It's the way I am. I can't make anything the same way twice. But this would just tie closed again, and there you go. Just a little stack of love notes that is actually a journaling spot. So I have a piece of cardstock here. Let's see if it's too wide for my paper. It isn't. We can still use it as a pocket and a journaling area. And it is, well, it's over 4 inches. It's just at 4.5 inches. So if you don't want it that large, go ahead and take it down. The only reason mine is this large is because I want to put this on the top of it. So when I place it in my journal, it'll go closer to the side of the page that flips. So if the page flips this way, I'll put it closer to this side and not as close to the spine. Okay. Excuse me. So after you cut your 12 by 4.5 or 12 by whatever you need it, you're going to need some sort of label or something for the front. Then you're going to turn it this way and score it every 3 inches. So 3, 6, 9. That looks a little like it's going to be a little long. We may have to cut some off back there. We want one of the green ones on top. And if it's too long, then we're going to cut that piece off. Sometimes when you pull these out of the sheets, they're kind of when you cut that top white piece off, sometimes they're still just a little bit too long. But we do want to even up our lines as much as possible. Okay, so that is too long, so let's mark that. So we'll know right where to cut it off at. Right there. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, a little bit more. I kind of missed that line just slightly. Well, I'm just cutting it crooked as can be today. Okay. Come on, get out of there. All right. Now, this part is going to get adhered down onto your paper. So what we want to do is put some paper on the inside of this so that it is covered. So we can either do it as one long sheet, or you can do it as 4 separate sheets and then just leave that little space for the folds. I think it's that one. Okay, now because I want this last one to be the right, to cover all the way, I'm just going to take this one and probably tear it off. Not too worried about wasting the paper because these little pieces go back in a bin and get reused. Okay, so we're just going to apply that there. Oh, for time's sake, should I use regular glue or should I use... It'll lay down a lot nicer if you use glue stick. So that's what I'm going to use, glue stick. And then I'll still need to cut my last piece for the end. Now, if you have double-sided paper for this one, you would need to just skip this step unless you want to cover the inside paper. Perhaps you don't like the paper that's on the inside, or perhaps it's not really a writable paper or something like that. I have to prop that up on my arm for a little bit. Okay, get my glue off my hands. And put that down pretty good. The nice thing about the glue stick is it doesn't leave lines all under the glue. Okay, so last piece right here. Right about there. Just going to use the trimmer for this one, trying to save a little bit of time. Remember, if you're using glue stick, you want to get it all over the paper. Make a couple of passes with it. That's really important so that your glue stick will stick. That's what makes it stick. Okay. Now, if you want to rough up these edges to make it look old, now is the time to do that. That's what I did with the edge of this, and I really like it. So I'm going to get my little scissors. I don't have one of those paper things that tears up the paper. So I'm going to do it this way, the old-fashioned way. Even the butterfly gets roughed up. Sorry, little guy. And if you accidentally cut into your paper with this, just turn that into part of the old vintage part of the letter, and it will look just fine. Okay, so get all the extra fluff off of it. And then you're going to want to go around it with your vintage photo, or perhaps, I really like the darker one better, but I don't have it out. But you can make this pretty dark, almost to a burnt look if you want. Especially if you have fresh ink. I think this is my new one too, and it's never been a very very good. I think it passed by the inking machine on its way and forgot to get a couple squirts of ink. Anyway, I have a re-inker, so I need to re-ink it. Okay, so there's that part, all nice and grunged up. Now, if you want to grunge this part up, now is the time to do it. And since I do, because I want it to look like some old letters, I'm going to go ahead and scrunch that up. Sorry if that sound bothers you. I'm almost done. It's okay if it rips. We'll make that part of the drama of the envelope. Almost there. Okay. And then you're going to go around this one again. Not again. For the first time, you're going to go around this one. And really get that ink in there. Sometimes you can do it this way. And sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. The only thing about doing it this way is you don't get this onto the envelope or the piece of paper like you want to. You get more than you want to. So there's that. And then you're going to want to ink up the inside. I'm over inking. Don't need to ink that much. I'm just trying to hurry. And then you're going to want to ink these, and that little tear that you put in it, make sure you ink that tear. You probably didn't put a tear in yours. And then here, now I'm not going to scruff up the sides of this. Okay, so decide which piece you want up and which you want down. And you want to redo those folds. Okay, so now we need to make some little hinge things for this. And what I did to do that was, oh, here's my paper. I cut a piece of this, about 1 inch wide, I guess. Inch to 1.5 inches. You decide. I think I cut that one straight. Okay. There we go. Have to recut it. Whoops. I better pick that up. That's my Fabri-Tac. Don't want my dog to carry it off. And then what I did was I folded this over, and I'm going to glue it. So let's fold it over and crease it. If you want, you can make this go clear around it. I'm just going to cut this in half again after I get it glued. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cut it in half again, which is right about here. There we go. And now I'm going to take this, whoops, that didn't quite make it in half. And I'm going to give this a 1/4 inch rounding on one of them, and then a 1/4 inch on the other, just like that. Then I'm going to think about where my center is. And let's see, if I come down to the 10, it goes to the 14.5. So right about there is my center. And right about there. Okay. So I think I want this to come over just about right there. About that far. So I'm not going to crease it necessarily. What I want to do is give it a roundish look here. See that? And the best way that I found to do that was to get my fat bone folder and just kind of rub it into there to make it kind of round. Okay? And we're going to want this one to round at the same area. So right about there. And I'm just pressing it around it. Okay. So they're approximately the same. One of them does come over slightly more than the other, but I think that'll be okay. It's okay if you need to make it a little more round. Okay. So you want to kind of gauge your center here. That's not it. I did that before too. Let's see. Well, that was very close to it. And then you're going to put these two together. If you have a hole puncher like the crocodile ones. And I'm going to, this is at 1/4 of an inch from the end to the, for the hole. Right there, just like that. Now we need to put a brad in there. Sorry, an eyelet. Brad and eyelet. I got those two mixed up. Wait, I don't have many of these left. Do I have two? I have lots of the gunmetal. There's that one. I have lots of colors. There's that one. Okay, so take one of these and put it in here. Boy, that was a little close this time. These are a little fatter than the ones I used last time. There we go, there's one. And these are the ones that don't split right. Grr. Yep, they're a little bigger, and when they split at the bottom, they get very sharp. So I don't like that. I don't like sharp objects on my stuff. Okay. So we're going to glue this. Oh, before we glue it, let's add our ink. Don't really need it underneath, but I'm going to put it there anyway. Okay. Oh gosh, I hope I haven't been out of camera. I don't know how to learn that, you guys. I keep scolding myself. Guess I never did very well with the scolding. Now we know why, because it didn't work. Okay. Now I'm going to put glue on the bottom of this. I want to stay away from that rounding part, because if you don't, it's going to seal your envelopes closed. It's going to seal this all closed. So line that line up with your brad. And get rid of your line. The line doesn't really want to go away this time. So you can see I'm trying to stay away from that rounding part and keep this back from that. I'm not trying to place it in there so it's super tight. Just want it there. Okay, now you need to decide when this opens, do you want it to fold down or up. I'm going to have mine fold down, and I'll probably put a pocket in it. So I want to put this on here, but I want to this time take my tie, find its middle, and I'm going to grab a piece of score tape and my Fabri-Tac. Okay. So my center is right about here. I need to flatten it out to be underneath the card. But once I get around the card, it can go back to being squinchy. So let's have a look there. Yeah, so I only need to flatten it out right to here. Okay. I guess I don't really need the score tape there, but it will help hold it down. It can't hurt. Oh, and the other thing, if you use something like this, this is a good time to decide if you want to put brads in these ends. I think I'm not going to do that because I don't want to pull my poor little butterfly apart. But I do want to help this little owie here where it kind of tore. And I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this piece because I know it's got to go over the binding. If you want to put another piece of fabric under this or something like that, this is the time to do that. Okay. Wow, I got an X in there. I don't know how I did that, but I did. So then we have our little pieces to run them through, and now we have, when we open this, we won't lose our tie. Where with the other one, you could take the tie off and it might, who knows? Who knows where things go? Where do socks go, you know? It's one of those things. So then we just tie it up. And there you go. A beautiful little love note stack. And you can untie it and undo maybe just one. Nope, you have to undo them both. Then you have a place to write, or you have a place to not only write, but you have a pocket behind it. So what do you think? Yay or nay? It's kind of cute, I think. I think it'd be cute with a shabby chic type journal. So there's that one. And here is this one. There we go. So to dye these, the ribbon, all you need to do is take a piece of plastic, and I took a piece of plastic like this, and you just ink it. I put my inks out on it, get it wet, get your seam binding wet, squish it up in there, and you get all inky, and you keep going till you get the color you want. Sometimes you have to clean up some of the ink that's already on there and then go fully to another color. Like I went fully to speckled egg, and then I went fully to peacock feathers to get it to lighten up and match this a little bit better. So I do save these for that. So I think that's all I have. What else can I tell you about it? I can put it on here so you can see them a little bit better. So let me know how yours turns out, and if you think they're A-okay or not okay, and have fun. And I will talk to you later. Bye.